UFC Fight Night, Allen vs. Costa, just went down. I'm going to give you my recap over the entire card. We went 8-5 this week. Not as good as we could have, but we will get better. Trust. It was an alright card. There were definitely some fights on here that were really fun to watch. And then definitely some fights that were just boring as shit. So, let's get right into it. We had the early prelim opener. We had Shauna Bannon versus Nicole Cagliari. Cagliari came out strong on the feet. She looked much better than Bannon. She looked much stronger in the grappling. It seemed like Bannon wanted to be on the ground and wanted to be in the grappling exchanges over the striking exchanges. But Cagliari just seemed better. Third round, she went out there, took Bannon down, got the sub. I believe she got an arm triangle. She started on the opposite side, locked it up from half guard from the opposite side, and then slipped over into mount, and then slipped over into side control, and got the sub. You know what I mean? Shauna Bannon's not that good. She almost lost to an Indian. That's how it goes. Next up the card, we had Daniel Perez versus Luis Garule. This was a sick fight. Both guys were just slugging it out. They both guys wanted to get a knockout. I think Perez knew that he needed the knockout, and Garule was trying to make a statement. He wanted to go out there and show that he belonged in the UFC. I believe he was on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak. I did not choose him to win this fight. I thought Perez was going to be able to get it done. And he did not. Garule landed some big power on the feet. Perez is tough. He definitely made it a fight. Garule was just too much. He was just swarming him the entire fight. And he got it done. So that's all there really is to that one. Next up the card. We had Alice Ardoin versus Poliana Viana. I had Alice getting it done. She did. She was landing big shots on the feet. Viana called a timeout. First round, she got tagged, and thought she got tagged with, I want to say it was just a straight left, or straight right. Hit her left eye, and she was like, I got poked, hold up, and they stopped fighting. But then it was just a punch. It wasn't an eye poke. So they went back to fighting, and Ardoin continued to land big shots on the feet, just beating up Viana. You hate to see it. Someone of her stature, you hate to see her face get turned to mush. That's how it goes, though. Ardoin looked good. So she got on top in the second round, and Viana got like a body triangle and then hooked her leg in between Ardoin's leg. So Ardoin kind of just like scooped her foot, and it was almost like a calf slicer. I guess it's called a capsule lock. Ardoin said she saw it on Instagram Reels and just decided to say, fuck it, I'm going to try this shit, and it worked. So, big ups on her for that. That's sick. I guess it's the first capsule lock in UFC history. So, going down in the history books there. Chose her to get this one done. She got this one done. Next up, we had Wheezy's pick of the night. Holy shit. What did I tell you guys? I told you, Big money to be made. Big money to be made on Brundage by KO. He was a plus 400 for KO. Petroski does not have a chin. You know, he did good in the first round. I'll give him that for sure. Petroski kind of just like wet blanketed him for the first round. Both guys were throwing big shots though. Brundage was barely missing. He came out throwing a big overhand right, and he was just barely missing with that. And Petroski started to so he was blocking with his left, but then he started bringing his right hand up over to help cover the chin. So his right side of his face was completely unguarded. And early in the second, Brundage must have seen that because he threw a big right hand. You know, he was double covering it. He faked another big right hand. Petroski covered up, and then he just chucked a big left hook. Caught him right on the chin, put him down, and finished up with ground and pound. Nasty ground and pound. Probably could have been stopped a little bit sooner. But, I mean, that's how she goes. Brundage got back into the win column with a beautiful, you could even say it was a comeback win. Petroski won the first round, I believe. We'll look at strike. Yeah, 21-6. And then in the second round, 38-0. You know what I mean? Yeah, round one definitely went Petroski. But Brundage found the chin. This guy does not have a chin left. He should just retire at this point. Brundage got this one done. Back in the W's. Probably not going to bet on him again. But this was just too good not to. Next up the card, we had Ketlin Vieira versus Jacqueline Calvicante. I had Calvicante winning this fight. She did not. Vieira was just too big, too much. You know, Calvicante tried to stay on the outside, but her outside of her range was still inside the range of Vieira, who just manhandled her, basically. That's all there really is to this one. You know, the first round was close. Vieira definitely won the second, and then the third round was close again. But I think Vieira won this fight, no doubt. Yeah, like I said, first round was close. Second round, Vieira really turned it on, and then third round. Looking at that, if you were just to look at strikes, DJ, you would think that Calvicante won this fight. I didn't think that watching it live. I thought Vieira won this fight. So that's how she goes. Next up the card, we had Tommy Gant making his debut versus Artur Minev. It seemed like it was going to be a smudge fest up along the fence. I was like, oh man, this guy was really hyped, and he's just gonna smudge fest him up against the fence, not do any damage. I think that's because Minev has great takedown defense. It seemed like he just did not want to be on the ground. As soon as Gant got him to the ground, because he was getting taken down. Yeah, look, he got 6 takedowns. Every time except for the last that Minev got taken down, he just popped right back up. I mean, that's all there is to it. As soon as he hit the canvas, he popped right back up to his feet. He was digging under hooks. He was trying to get away. Gant ended up getting him down and then just feeding him big shots. He was able to kind of take his back and then just finish the fight, feeding him juicers from the back. Just double-handed it. Getting her done. Yeah, I mean, I had Gant getting this one done by submission, but in a situation like that, it's hard not to just chuck bombs. You know, you're probably going to get the finish. If he would have tried to go for a submission in that instance, I think everyone would be calling him stupid and low IQ. So it's good that he went for the finish via TKO. Next up the card, we had the prelim feature fight. Tuco Tacos versus Ivan Urslan. Tuco had a chance in the first. If he really could have finished this fight in the first. He gassed himself out though. You know, my dad texted me after this fight and he was like, "Hey, like it seemed like he just gassed out and quit after that first round," and I couldn't agree more. You know, watching that fight, he went hard at the end of the first round trying to chase the finish, didn't get it, and then he was just dead for the rest of the fight. Got taken down, wet blanketed, smudged, couldn't do anything. Once he got onto the ground, got on his back, he had no offerings to try and get up or get to a better position. He just kind of took it. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like he was content with, I tried. I did really good in that first round, but he was just too much. That seemed like what Tokos was content with the fight being. Urslan got this one done, though. He looked, again, in the first, his chin looked very, very suspect. But he survived. Was able to turn on the wrestling, get the takedowns, stay on top control, do some damage. Won this fight. I mean, this is one of the ones where it was pretty boring. This was not very fun to watch. But that's how she goes. Next up, on to the main card. We had Nikolay Veretnikov versus Chaos Williams. Chaos landed a big shot. Veretnikov likes to keep his chin up high. Every time he was engaging or disengaging, that chin was just way up. It was there for Williams to land one of his big power shots on, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I mean, there's really, it wasn't a technical fight. There wasn't much to break down in this one. Williams went out there, chucked a bomb, it landed, and you put him away. Yeah, I mean, good on Williams. He's back in the W's. Great job. Veretnikov definitely has to work on his boxing defense. But, you know, that's how she goes. He got stumbled. It seemed like a bit of a early stoppage, but it's not like an early stoppage, you know. Like Veretnikov definitely was not going to come back from that, but he could have gotten a takedown and prolonged it for just a little while longer. But I'm not upset with the stoppage. Williams earned it. He got this one done. First round TKO. Next up the card, we had Timmy Kwamba versus Bernardo Sopage. I had Sopage getting this one done. He got this one done. First round, Timmy looked solid on the feet, and then Sopage was able to take him down. Had a nasty neck crank for probably like the last 30 seconds. He was really working that neck, and then the last 10, 15 seconds, he was really cranking the neck. And Kwamba survived. And then second round, he came out. Kwamba, again, looked solid on the feet. But Sopage he was fast. He caught him with a check hook, I believe. So Sopage caught Kwamba with a check hook, dumped him bad. and then just ended up taking his back and getting the rear naked choke. Got the sub, came back after a loss. He looked good. He really did look good. Kwamba looked solid on the feet, but Sopaj also looked very solid on the feet. And obviously he is a very skilled jiu-jitsu technician. On to Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. I had Modestas getting this one done. He got this one done. I didn't really see the split decision part of this. You know, I thought he won the first and second fairly clearly. The third definitely was very, very close, and I can definitely see that one going to Edwards. But I don't really see the split decision. I think the first and the second definitely went to Bukauskas. He was better on the feet. He was stinging Edwards. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of grappling up against the fence in this one. Both guys really wanted the takedown, but neither of them got the takedown. So it wasn't like, I don't know. There wasn't much to score in this fight. First round, it was very close. I'm not trying to say that it. I'm not trying to say that it was super, super clear or nothing, but I do think Bukauskas won. I don't think it was a split decision worthy. 19-20, but 19 big shots landed. Second round, 18-11. He outstruck him by a wider margin. Again, big shots. And then round 3, Edwards outlanded. But Bukauskas was still landing big shots. I think round 3 goes Edwards, for sure. But I think 1-2 go Bukauskas. He got this one done. The judges agreed. He got this one done by split decision. Next up the card, we had the feature fight of the night. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. I had Malcolm Wellmaker getting this one done. He did not. Bit of a fraud check. But that's tough to say because Juan Diaz looked really good, He was hitting Wellmaker with big power. He was stumbling Wellmaker a couple of times. He did throw a knee to the head of Wellmaker that didn't quite land on his head. It landed shoulder first and then lanced up. Wellmaker was clearly a downed opponent when Diaz threw this knee. So that was just stupid. That was a stupid strike to throw. No point was taken or anything because it didn't land on the head. But that was stupid. He dropped Wellmaker with a hook, I want to say. They broke the clinch and he dropped him off the break and then followed it up almost with a soccer kick type knee. The ref called a timeout with 1 second left or whatever. Round 2, they came out. Diaz, again, looked really good on the feet. Was able to take Wellmaker down along the fence. And, he ended up taking the back and getting the rear naked choke. I do still think Wellmaker could be a top 15 guy. Maybe somewhere from like 7 to 15. I don't think he's going to be a champ. His grappling really, really leaves a lot to be desired. Diaz looked good though. Big ups Diaz. Got this one done. Next up, co-main event. We had Doo Ho Choi versus Daniel Santos. I was seeing a lot of people saying Doo Ho Choi's washed. What the hell are you? What gave you that impression? You know, before the fight, they were saying he's washed because he took that long layoff, because he had to serve in the military. What are people not understanding about this? Yeah, I mean, Doo Ho Choi went out there, was a bit of a boxing bag in the first round, for sure. But then he really started turning it on in the in late in the first and then early second round. He really turned it on, turned it up, started landing big shots, started landing in combination on Santos, and eventually, 30 seconds left in the second round, he landed a couple of body shots from hell that just dumped Santos, put him down. He had, he was just kind of laying there writhing in pain. Shit was wild. Those were some of the nastiest body shots I have seen in a while, for sure. Choi looked good though. Hell of a chin on this guy. Santos looked really solid in the first round. He could not keep the pace though. Towards the end of the first, you could really see him starting to slow down, and then in the second, he came out slow, and Choi capitalized. That's really all there is to it. Nasty body shots. Disgusting. Next up, we had the main event. Good old Arnold Allen versus Mezquiel Costa. I had Allen getting this one done. He got this one done. I mean, I told you guys Costa has to pretty much knock you out. He could get a sub, but if Costa's going to win, it's going to be a knockout. He is not a decision merchant. Allen's a bit of a decision merchant. Allen dropped him with a left hook in the first, though. It looked very, very scary for Costa. Allen dumped him and then followed up. Costa kind of made it a scramble. Ended up reversing, and then in the second round, Allen looked very sound on the feet. He started landing some bigger shots. Costa still was firing back, still landing good shots, still looked very alive on the feet, landing lots of calf kicks. But then third round, Allen really turned it up. Just really started to land the straight lefts. He just really started to put it together. That's all there is to it. Allen found his range and found his rhythm and just started to piece up Mezquiel Costa. It was a great fight. This was a fun fight to watch for sure. Allen got this one done. He looked very dominant. This was a great performance for him, I think. Number 7 versus number 12, I want to say. Yeah, it doesn't say it here. But I believe Allen's ranked 7 and Costa was 12. So, I mean, that's a solid ranked fight under his belt. Allen continues to beat everyone who's not just top level guys. If you're bringing Gene Silva to a decision, you're gonna beat Mezquiel Costa. That's all there is to it. And he did that. Exactly that. That's my recap over the card this week. UFC Fight Night, Allen vs. Costa in the UFC Meta Apex. Thank you for watching. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.